Hello Matt, it is Thursday some day in late March. I know, it's the 26th of March, the 10th anniversary of the first episode of the new series Doctor Who. I remembered. I said I'd forget, but I remembered, and that's going to leak into my later vlog, but first I've got to get a few footnotes out of the way. The first footnote is that my punishment video will be out next week. I couldn't get out last week, I've already told you why, but to everyone else, there are no copies of the book in the library, so couldn't get. So, Fifty Shades of Grey reading will come soon, and I'll do it the weekend. If I don't do it the weekend, you could give me another punishment if you want, as well as the two I've already got. Another footnote is that I have got, wait let me get it, Sony Vegas Pro 9. It's a bit old edition, but it is still a very good editing software. But one little footnote is that I won't be editing this vlog using that because I'm still getting used to it. It's so much different from Power Director, it's just so many new features. You can do green screen masking, complicated effects, better title scrolls, better everything. And it's the full version. I've only got like a version of Power Director that doesn't include like a few of the items, but I promise you, within the next couple of months my vlogs are going to be done full time with Vegas Pro. Did you see how much it costs me? I'm not sure if you can see that, but 99p! 99p! Holy crap, that is cheap! Another footnote is it's been 1 year, or 366 days since I had a life-saving operation, or life-changing operation, at a John Radcliffe Hospital to remove a tumour from my nose, due to an angiofibroma, and I just want this little part of the vlog to be dedicated to John Radcliffe Hospital and Dr. Martinez, so thank you for changing my life for the better. Now I can do this. I couldn't do that for a year, from March 2013 to March 2014, so thank you. So now we've got those footnotes out of the way, let's move on to the review. Now for the second week running, it's not going to be of a movie review, and for a week after this it's not going to be a movie review as well. Seeing as it is the 10th anniversary of News of Doctor Who, I think it is pretty good that I review the first 3 episodes of the new series. And that is the Series 5, 2005 series with Christopher Eccleston. I'll be reviewing the first 3 episodes this week and the next 3 episodes the next week, and let me tell you now, I only have the DVDs to those 2 episodes, or well those 6 episodes. There are 2 DVDs each with 3 episodes, so I'm going to do the review of this edition. I'm going to get an imagery and then put it on this edition of DVD. Got to not waste any time, let's go straight into the reviews of the episodes. Episode 1 is Rose. Now, I just got to say this out, I remember watching it, I remember loving it, but I thought there was going to be Daleks in it. No, there was Autons, and they weren't the focus, let's say. The Autons only appeared for like 5 minutes out of the total 45, and they appear pretty weak. So that's the bad part of the episode. The good part of the episode, in my opinion, is the human characters. Billie Piper as Rose, I've got to say, that was perfect casting. I don't know how they could have... I don't really know, because she is technically Rose, she's the only one that can be, but I can't see anyone playing her better than Billie Piper, whatever her name is. I think it's Billie Piper. Yeah. Her mother, I don't know who played her, she's also good at the role. Mickey, I knew the guy's name, but I can't remember for the life of me. He's alright in the role. Christopher Eccleston, he was the best Doctor, but then David Tennant overtook him. Sorry if that's a spoiler, but he is the second best Doctor in my opinion. Not really watched the old series. I've only really watched new ones, but he's better than Matt Smith, and I've not even watched any Peter Capaldi episodes, but I think he's better than them. So, Rose, let's get this over with. Okay, so there's this Autons who are like mannequins who are made alive in a department store, and then they Doctor blows them up, and then they come back and they attempt to take over all of London, and then the Doctor and Rose work together to kill them. It's not a very big story, but it's the characters really. The first episode of every series has got to set everything up, and this does it perfectly. Yeah, this is the great first episode to watch because you get to know who the Doctor is, what he's done. If I had a clever way of showing that by someone who researches him for a living, and Rose is just oblivious to the fact he's a weird man till like says, "You're the Doctor, what's your real name?" I don't have a real name. So I like that. The characters in this episode are very good, and it's just the story does let it down a bit, but it gets better as the episodes move on a bit. So I'm going to say Rose is definitely worth a watch if you want to see the beginning. Another thing about this episode is that there's a bit of good comedy in it. It's child comedy, which I usually hate, but it's funny nonetheless. It's just I've watched the episode. I'll go watch that Rose. I could give it, if I gave it a rating, I'll give it like a 7 out of 10. Next episode, the end of the world. Alright, so they travel forward in time to the year, I'm trying to remember off by heart, 5/5/Apple/26, I think. I'm not 100% sure. This time they're met by, what's her name? Oh, I'm trying to think of a funny joke. The one from My Family, but I can't. Madam Hooch from Philosopher's Stone. Never. Yeah. Zoe Wanamaker plays Cassandra O'Brien, told Little 17, and yeah, you can tell she was having a ball with that voice role. I think that is one of the best performances in TV I've ever seen. Just the way you just love her and hate her at the same time. She murders people on board, but she's just so elegant and stuff. You don't think she would, so the last human alive been stretched as a trampoline. I like that message. They get across that humans aren't the same then. She plans to murder everyone on an observing platform, which in the end of the world. And then the Doctor foils her in a really creative manner. She teleports away, and then he gets her back, and then the moisturisers. I used to love that so much when I was younger. It's like that series and the next she's in, and I was like, moisturisers, God's sake. That's such a stupid plot device, but it's actually a really smart one to think about at the end. Yeah, this time there's less focus on characters, more focus on story, and it features all the things I like in a story. It's quick, it's pacey, it's got a bit of action in it, it's got a light-hearted sense of humour with it, and it also has one little sad bit, I think. Doctor meets these trees that evolved into people who can walk and talk and stuff, and the tertiary character in this, tertiary main character, unfortunately dies in it, and yeah, going on 3D episodes, that is pretty sad. But let's move on from that. That was a pretty decent moment in it. In fact, you could actually feel sadness in it, and there's also a really good scene in it where the Doctor's just, shield's going to go down, but I need to get through this fan. He closes his eyes, opens them, and then runs. I love that scene. I'll give that scene 10 out of 10 any day. Take a step the episode down. I think this is actually the lowest rated episode on BB's, like, Wikipedia somewhere. I've read that. It was the lowest rated episode of the first series, and I don't know why. It's actually a really good episode. Things laid down. I think there's a bit of Deus Ex Machina in it. I don't know really how to explain that, but I've already given away a spoiler, but it'll take too long to understand. I need to review the Unquiet Dead really fast after this one. So there are a few Deus Ex Machina bits, a bit of loose character threads, a bit of annoying characters, but great villain, great story. I give this episode a full 9 out of 10. The Unquiet Dead, probably the episode I watched least out of the DVDs I have. This time they go back in time to a time when Charles Dickens was around, and it's Christmas Eve, and he's about to read a play, but then a dead person awakes and goes into the play, and speech, I don't even know what it was, but they go into the theatre and ghosts appear, and then Dr. Rose go in to find out what is causing these people to get out of their graves. Now that's a pretty creative story. But I'm not sure. It's not that interesting. Much focus on villains here. There's not too much focus on the characters apart from Charles Dickens. I think the actor they got to play him, I don't know his name. He is top notch in the role. I actually thought he was Charles Dickens for a bit when I watched it recently. So, I think that's the highlight. Charles Dickens in this, the actor played him was the highlight. He was great in the role. There's a depth in this, but you don't really feel for it. You never really spend too much time with the characters. The villain, it's not as fleshed out as Cassandra, definitely. I don't really know. They wanted to get from one universe to the other, but they needed to use like the souls of dead people to do it. It's not very interesting. There is threat in this episode, but it's more threatening than the other 2 episodes, and arguably every episode until the 6th one, which I'm going to get onto next week. But it's the darkest episode, I should say. It's the darkest episode of the first 5 at least. The darkest one. I don't think that translates well into BBC's Saturday night family fun sci-fi. So 1 and 2 did that perfectly. Episodes 3 and 4, 4 and 5 even might do that perfectly. I'll see you next week. This episode though doesn't. Much darker tone. I give it a 5 out of 10. So don't punish me for not doing the movie review again, but I think you'll understand. This is the 10th anniversary of these episodes, so let's raise a glass, imaginary glass, to Doctor Who, who's been running 10 years to the day. Cheers. Okay, but I won't see you tomorrow until Saturday, because I'm going to Wembley, as you're probably aware. So I will see you on Saturday. 99p.